Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive right into the top stories making headlines today. New York University's Center of Race, Inequity, and the Law has issued guidelines for student protesters focusing on the protection of minorities during demonstrations. One suggestion involves white students leveraging their privilege by acting as physical barriers between law enforcement and black or brown individuals. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Additional recommendations include recording arrests, identifying undercover officers, wearing masks, and which in some states are illegal, and maintaining hygiene with hand sanitizer. Protesters are also advised to self-isolate for 2 weeks and test for COVID-19 after attending events. This is crazy. They can't get rid of the woke stuff. But these measures aim to address safety concerns and emphasize community accountability during protests. The resource has sparked discussions about its implications and goals. What is your goal? I mean, protecting minorities? Are you serious? This is so stupid. The left has lost their mind. Los Angeles is facing a severe financial crisis with a budget shortfall nearing $1 billion. The city is grappling with weaker than expected tax revenues and rising costs, including a scheduled $250 million in pay raises for city employees. This is a self-inflicted wound. I mean, the reason why tax revenue is weaker than expected is because companies that pay these taxes are fleeing Los Angeles and fleeing California altogether. This is because of their over-regulation and their stupid woke policies. Officials warn that significant cost-cutting measures, including layoffs, are likely unavoidable. The city's reserve fund has been heavily drained, prompting discussions about deferring raises or other concessions from unions. Critics attribute the crisis to long-standing issues like unsustainable spending. That's exactly what it is, a spending problem, and reliance on temporary financial fixes. City leaders now face tough decisions to address the growing deficit. And this is just a microcosm of all these Democrat-ran cities. This is happening to all of them. This is because Democrats do not know how to manage. Former MSNBC host Joy Reid is reportedly upset following her dismissal due to poor ratings and is allegedly considering exposing internal details about the network. Sources claim she has refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement and is determined to share her side of the story. After her firing, Reid held a meeting with fellow MSNBC personalities where she expressed her commitment to progressive causes she championed during her show. Despite the controversy, Reid's remarks about historical events and political issues continue to generate debates, with critics questioning her accuracy and approach. Her firing has sparked discussions about the challenges of maintaining viewership and addressing internal network dynamics. WWE wrestler turned politician Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane, y'all remember Kane, has challenged Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to a charity wrestling match after Walz joked about his toughness during a podcast. And I would call it a joke, because who believes this dude is tough? Kane will crush him. Jacobs proposed splitting the proceeds between their chosen charities and even kickstarted the effort with the $10,000 donation. Governor Ron DeSantis offered to host the event in Florida, suggesting it as a neutral location. While Jacobs and others rallied support, raising pledges and finding sponsors, Walz has not responded to the challenge, and I don't think he will. There's no way he will fight Kane. Instead, Walz focused on unrelated political topics and mocked criticism from media personalities, leaving Jacobs to speculate about their potential face-off. I mean, come on, man. Who really think this soft-ass Tim Walz can beat anyone? A recent New York Times report claims that the Venezuelan Tren de Agua gang is not directly controlled by Venezuela's government, contradicting the White House's stance, but it's the New York Times. We know the New York Times lie. They just got caught in another lie today. But the administration has argued that the gang collaborates with Venezuela to destabilize the U.S., justifying expedited deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. Intelligence agencies reportedly reached their conclusion with moderate confidence, while the FBI dissented, asserting a connection between the gang and the Venezuelan government. Critics suggest that intelligence leaks to the media are being used to undermine President Trump's immigration policies, echoing tactics seen during his first term. The situation has reignited debates over executive authority and the role of intelligence agencies in shaping public opinion. Who is still reading the New York Times? I was just alluding to another story that came out today. I don't have it written up here, but the New York Times lied and said that some insider said that that Elon Musk was getting told classified information on how we would attack China if we were to go to war with China, which is absolutely false. So whoever reading the New York Times, I wouldn't trust it. I don't know why anyone would believe anything from the New York Times. Senator John Fetterman criticized Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for urging Democrats to fight harder against a government funding measure, calling the suggestion harmful and chaotic. Fetterman emphasized the importance of keeping the government operational despite differences over specific policies. While Democrats initially voted to clear a procedural hurdle for the funding bill, most later opposed the final measure, which ultimately passed. Ocasio-Cortez urged senators to vote against both the procedural step and the bill itself, advocating for the protection of programs like Medicaid, even though nothing is going to happen to Medicaid. The situation highlights ongoing tensions within the Democratic Party over legislative strategies and priorities. Kamala Harris has emerged as the top choice among Democrats for a hypothetical 2028 presidential primary, receiving 36% support in a recent morning consult poll. Please run again, Kamala. Please run again. I mean, y'all have not learned. They keep running these failed people. Pete Buttigieg, who's someone else I hope who runs, followed in second place with 10%. And because Pete Buttigieg is short, he's like 5'8". No one in the recent modern era has voted for a short president. And plus, I'm not going to talk about his sexual preferences, but that'll be something held against him, I think, as well. But while Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Gavin Newsom, and Tim Walz tied for third with 5% each. Harris, who recently lost the 2024 election to Donald Trump, has not announced any plans to run again, but remains open to future political opportunities, including a potential gubernatorial bid in California. Yeah, let her go and destroy California. Her advisors have indicated that she intends to stay engaged in public services and weigh her options carefully over time. This polling highlights her strong standing with the Democratic Party despite recent challenges, which I don't understand, but y'all keep on backing these losers. I'm all for it. Bill Maher has confirmed plans to meet with President Trump at the White House, a meeting arranged by musician Kid Rock. Maher, known for his criticism of Trump, dismissed backlash from liberal critics, calling them mean girls and emphasizing the importance of dialogue. Democrats don't want dialogue. They don't want you to be able to talk to someone that you disagree with, which is just crazy. The Kid Rock expressed hope that the meeting would promote unity despite Maher's history of opposing Trump. Maher joked about dressing respectfully for the occasion, contrasting his attire with Ukrainian President Zelensky's casual style during a recent visit. The meeting has sparked discussions about bridging political divides and fostering communication between opposing viewpoints. But again, Democrats don't really want that. That's why they're attacking Bill Maher on that. Lastly, the House task force on the declassification of federal secrets is set to investigate whether the CIA misled Congress about the JFK assassination. I mean, do you really need a task force on that? Really? You don't know that they did? Well, Representative Anna Paulina Luna emphasized the need for transparency, citing the abundance of conspiracy theories stemming from government secrecy. The task force aims to ensure the release of all eligible JFK records with support from CIA Director. The records have already been released. I don't know why this is in here, but congressional investigators also searching for a whistleblower flag CIA Inspector General report that could reveal the agency's actions during the House Select Committee on Assassinations. Luna expressed optimism about progress, noting recent changes at the National Archives and intelligence agencies. Well, that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.